Wow. We have an episode lined up for you today.
Yes, we do.
On the Bowfishing Buzz, episode 102. My name is Matthew. Over there's my good buddy D. Schmitty. Brought to you by AMS Bowfishing and
Megamouth Bowfishing as well, of course. We have our fantastic sponsors, Matt.
Yes,
Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA. It's a nice new T-shirt Matt is sporting for the podcast today.
Yes.
That's fantastic. End Designs, leatherwork and embroidery. Painted Arrow, a new one for this year. Don't forget to check out, guys, their Mag Pro H2O. It's a phone mount specifically made for mounting to the front of your bow. It works great for bowfishing. We've used them. And don't forget, if you use code AMS15, AMS15 at checkout, you will receive 15% off your order for that Mag Pro H2O mount at Painted Arrow.
Very nice.
Yep.
Oh.
You know, let me throw this out there too, Matt. We're talking about our sponsors here. They're not a sponsor of ours, but boy, we got to give a big old shout out here. So, on our previous podcast, we recapped our Buff Spawn trip with Jana Waller.
Right.
Jules McQueen from Carbon TV, Jana Waller, obviously Skullbound Chronicles TV show, fantastic, been around for a long time. We were out on the boat. We're on a rather large body of water. And we made a little comment to each other like, man, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if we had some binoculars out here to be able to be far enough away from shorelines that we could look at the shoreline, see if there's any spawning action, any splashing going on.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, Jana Waller's asking us our shirt sizes. Okay? No idea what that was for. We told her. We get back to the shop that Monday. She's sponsored by Vortex.
Right.
Vortex sent us a beautiful package. 2 of their Viper 10x42 binoculars. I'm wearing a hoodie that they sent us, a Vortex hoodie.
Yeah.
Sweatshirts and T-shirts.
Yes.
They sent us some polarized sunglasses.
Yes.
It was ridiculous what they did. So thank you guys so much for that. We will use those binoculars exactly for that. I've thought that for a long time. So just shout out to Jana there. That was so cool to be able to get those things from Vortex.
For that.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Big time.
Schmitty.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's done.
It's done already.
As much as a couple of weeks ago, we're like, oh, Big 20's coming up. Boom. In a blink of an eye, it's completely done with and over. Insane.
Yeah.
And we're going to recap it for you guys here.
We will be recapping it.
This is always one that does pretty well. And if you guys are listening, you probably noticed, wow, look, back-to-back weekly uploads here. This is kind of our time of year when we do a couple bonus episodes. We got lots going on.
Yes.
The Big 20's big. We do a pre-Big 20 podcast, a recap, and we might even do another one next week. You guys might get 3 back-to-back-to-back. So we're excited to be up here, though. We got lots going on.
We're going to be yelling in your ears for the next 3 weeks,
Yes,
Schmitty.
absolutely. So get ready. Get ready.
Tickling your eardrums.
Yep. I tell you what, Matt, these last couple of weeks have been sponsored also by, not really, but sponsored by Alani energy drinks. Let me just...
You like that stuff.
Wow. I'm ready to talk now, baby. Yes.
Well, Schmitty.
Yeah.
We've got an empty chair sitting back here.
Oh, that's weird.
We've got the mics all set up.
Why do we even have this set up, Matt? There's no one in it.
We have a very special guest.
Yes, we do.
Fresh off their first place finish, we've got Joshua Mertens, Team Indicarp captain.
Yes, absolutely.
Coming here to join us.
And guys, Josh and his spectacular teammates took first place at this year's AMS Big 20. They were pumped up at weigh-ins.
That was so cool.
It was so cool to see it. It was fantastic. We're going to have him join us, walk us through the evening, walk us through what Saturday during the day felt like, the emotions, once they found fish, how long did they scout, how long were they up here for. So I'm very much looking forward to. We don't know any of that information, so you'll be learning right along with us. I'm very curious to see what that outlook looks like.
We've got, like I said, that's going to be awesome to talk with Josh on all that stuff. And man, he's done some crazy stuff.
He has.
We're gonna get it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Funny little story about Sunday morning weigh-ins. Okay, they pull up. I'll keep it short because we'll talk about it with him too. They pull up with their boat. They came to the scale that I was working on.
Yeah.
Towels laid up over top of the fish. They covered them all up. That's always a good sign. You're like, oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Well, they were all so excited. They weren't quite sure how the weigh-in process goes. They all grab some fish and they hop onto our trailer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, get out of here, guys. You got to stay in the boat. The only people on the trailer are the people working it, working that scale. So
and they bounced back up on their
sorry.
boat.
Yeah, my bad. And they started unloading those fish.
They were jacked.
They were
jacked up. They knew what the weights were coming in because we had those awesome some QR codes where people can keep track of
live results.
Live results that are being entered.
As soon as they get entered, as soon as that team leaves, they sign their slip. That slip gets turned into, I don't know if Wendy or Cindy or Jeff was running it, and all of a sudden, boop, live there. So that was very cool to
nice.
see.
Yeah, very nice.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, with that tournament, we'll have Josh on a little later in the podcast here. We're going to do a little bit of talking here, just you and me, but weather played a massive role in this Big 20. Of all the Big 20s that I remember working, I think my first one was maybe 2016 or 2017, this was probably the nastiest weather that I can remember. As far as cold, wet, windy. Let's dive into that a little bit just to see what we can learn from a rather nasty weekend of weather.
Leading up to that, 75, 80 degrees for a week and a half. The fish were spawning. The buffs were spawning. The carp were spawning. It was great. It was awesome.
It was beautiful. It was like during that trip with Jana and Jules during that buff spawn time frame, I remember a couple times we're like, we could not ask for better weather than what we have right now. High skies, mid-70s. It was beautiful.
Gorgeous. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Bow fishing paradise.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Wednesday night, we get a front that comes through with some nasty, nasty storms. We had tornado just, 15 miles from here. We had tornado touchdown. Yeah. Really hard.
Yep. Bob, who you guys heard on the podcast, his little storage shed in his backyard, done for. Blew right down.
Yep. And after that front went through, the temperatures just went, took a 25-degree temperature drop just like that.
Yep.
And crazy winds. Friday night, the winds were just absolutely crazy the day before the night before the Big 20.
Yep, made scouting very difficult.
It was crazy. Yeah. And the cold has stayed there ever since right now. I mean, it's raining out right now. It's 42 degrees.
It's Wednesday now, so we're 4 days from the night that the guys shot in that cooler temperature, and it does not look like it's warming up for the foreseeable future either.
It's still here.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Do you think that had any effect? What do you think that does to the fish, matey? What do you think that cold front, do you think barometric pressure and all that stuff affects common carp?
100%.
So just like a walleye or a crappie or, game fish?
Yep. As much as different fish have different habits, different areas they like, fish are fish, okay? Different factors will affect fish in whatever way it might be, but it will affect them in some way, shape, or form. Let me start from the tournament aspect of things. We were a little bit like, I wonder how many teams we're going to get to register the day of the tournament because of this nasty weather that blew in here. Yeah. I think we had a total of, what did we have, Matt?
72.
72 that were
we had
that
75, and then we had 3 that had dropped out.
Yep. And we had a good amount sign up the day of the tournament, which was a little bit of a surprise to us.
We had 11 on Friday night that entered.
Yeah, yep. So that was cool to see. That didn't quite affect us as much as it would, as we thought it would. Okay. Onto the bow fishing aspect of things.
Yeah.
Everything that got, you try to scout as close up to the night that you're going to be shooting as you can.
Absolutely.
But with the weather that came in, I'm guessing a lot of guys were scouting the week prior when we had some nice, beautiful weather.
Yeah.
I think guys maybe went and scouted some areas, found some fish, and then those fish were not in those areas the night of the tournament leading up with that cold front. I think that colder weather pushes fish out into deeper water, makes them harder to access, and just overall makes the bow fishing a little bit tougher than what it would be if we had bluebird 75-degree day and a 59 or 60-degree nights.
Yep, and a lot of the teams knew that Saturday. You're talking to them, they're like, this is really going to affect
100%.
where these fish end up at.
And as far as the barometric pressure.
What is barometric pressure, Schmitty?
Barometric pressure. Well, barometric pressure affects fish primarily through their swim bladder. It's like the pressure that's in the air depending on the high or low front that's moving through. Usually a bluebird sky day is a high pressure day. I always remember that for deer hunting. You want cold, high pressure days. That gets deer up on their feet early. But fish are primarily affected through their swim bladders, which is used for their buoyancy control. Changes in air pressure can cause these bladders to expand or contract, potentially leading to discomfort and behavioral changes in fish, which totally 100%. Barotrauma, Matt, when we're ice fishing. You don't want to be catching fish out of 30 feet of water because when you reel them up, their stomachs are pushed out of their mouth because that air bladder is expanding as it's coming up the water column. That is the same type of situation as far as the pressure that goes with that weather change.
Absolutely. Yep. So low barometric pressure, Schmitty, when the air pressure drops, the gas in the fish's swim bladder expands, making the fish feel heavier and less buoyant.
Yes.
This can cause fish to swim deeper to relieve that pressure. They may also become less active and less interested in feeding during this time.
100%. So, like, I would compare that to, let's see here. When we're in Minnesota during our ice fishing trip,
Oh, boy. I wonder where this is going.
Okay. And we get back to the cabin. Luckily, over the last couple of years, we have had no problem being able to do this. We make ourselves a big fish fry. All right, we eat a ton of food.
French fries.
Oh, everything's deep fried.
Yeah.
We're deep frying everything.
Yeah.
Had a few drinks, and we're sitting there, and you are just stuffed.
yeah.
God. Guess what
Yeah.
you don't want to do much of?
Yeah.
Move around.
Right.
Same type of situation with these fish when they have that gas expands, and all of a sudden they just feel big. They feel heavy. They just don't feel like moving much.
Right.
I think this is kind of what you could compare that to.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that's low barometric pressure.
Right.
High barometric pressure, Matt. Conversely, when the air pressure rises, the swim bladder compresses, potentially making the fish feel lighter. This can lead to fish suspending themselves in the water column or becoming lethargic with that high pressure.
Right.
So it kind of is a little bit of a catch-22. You've got to kind of know what you're looking for there.
Falling barometric pressure or weather fronts.
Which we had coming into the tournament. That's exactly what we had.
Leading into those weather fronts, a rapidly falling barometric pressure, often associated with an approaching weather system, can trigger a feeding frenzy in some fish as they prepare for the potential changes in their environment.
Correct.
They may also become more active and move towards shallow water.
Yep. They know something is coming.
Right.
That they are not going to want to be insanely active in.
It's time to eat.
They know that they're going to have lots of energy to make it through that, so they stock up on,
Right.
And so much of this can be related to other activities.
Absolutely.
I think of all the times that I've had great open water fishing when you look in the distance and you can see storm clouds rolling in. Yep. Or when you're hunting late archery season in Wisconsin and you know that tonight's going to be nasty weather, the temp's going to drop, there's going to be snow, deer are up on their feet moving early. It kind
Temperature
of affects,
drops are incredible.
Yes.
For deer movement.
Yep. 100%. So rising barometric pressure, man, or clear skies.
Right.
A rising barometric pressure, often associated with clearing weather, can make fish sluggish and less active. They may move to deeper water or stay near cover.
This effect right here, we're talking about the fish themselves.
Yep.
What happens, their swim bladders, all that stuff, how it affects them by expanding and they feel heavy and less buoyancy. This also affects, for example, I'm going to look at big heads.
Okay.
What do big heads eat? Plankton, zooplankton.
Yep. Filter feeding.
That affects the zooplankton and plankton also.
Right.
Those fish change water columns.
Yeah.
The big heads were here last night feeding on the surface like crazy or a couple inches below the surface. Now they're gone.
Yep. So now you've got compounding factors.
Oh, yes.
Not only does it affect the
absolutely.
fish, it also affects what the fish are eating, and
Right.
pretty soon you could be in for a tough night of fishing.
Absolutely.
100%.
It's crazy.
Yep.
Other factors that can deal with barometric pressure is the lateral lines. Fish also use their lateral line, a sensory system, to detect pressure changes, further influencing their behavior.
Yep. And Matt, it definitely varies by fish species
Right.
too. Not everything is the same. Different
Right.
species of fish have varying swim bladder sizes and sensitivity to pressure changes, and that can affect the response to barometric pressure fluctuation as well.
Absolutely. And water depth, Schmitty, also. Fish can adjust their depth to compensate for pressure changes, seeking a more comfortable level of buoyancy.
Right. Yep.
And, I mean, boy, you
can dive into this.
a
lot.
Right.
Yes. I would be so curious. We talked about this on a previous podcast, Matt, but one year we should just freaking buckle down, grind it out, and just do it. Okay?
Keep track.
Yes. Have a little Excel spreadsheet. High temp for the day, low temp for the day. Cloudy or clear skies, what the barometric pressure was, wind speed, wind direction, how many fish we shot, what the biggest fish was, how many times Derek had to pee, how many times... Just track everything we possibly can to see if we could have any correlation, moving forward.
The highest number on that spreadsheet would be you peeing.
I would
you
say
pee more than anybody else I know.
that's because I'm a hydrated fella.
Holy moly!
I stay hydrated. You pee like once a day, dude.
That's true.
Your pee looks like mustard.
I know. Like when we got done, when we got done on that trip with Jana and stuff, we were bowfishing for those 3 or 4 days, and then I went back down on Friday and was bowfishing again, and it was 5 straight days on the water. I didn't drink a lot of water hardly at all. My lips were I could tell it in my lips.
Yeah, they get chapped.
They were chapped so bad.
Yep.
They were just so dried up and chapped, and it was crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
So I think, Schmitty, let's start out with the Big 20 results.
Okay, let's dive
Let's
right
kind
in.
of go over some of this here because
Give the people what they want.
Absolutely. I'll let you go ahead and crank out the Average Joe.
Oh, the Average Joe, which is a fantastic
cool
award that we have. For anyone who doesn't know what the Average Joe is, we take all of the total teams that weighed in. We have all their weights, and we divide them by however many teams there were. That gives us a median average number. Whatever team weighs in closest to that number wins a fantastic trip with Corey Brossman.
Right.
Out there, I'm guessing they're going after stingrays again this year.
Yes.
That is so cool. We love that in there because I think it is also a little bit of a push for people to come back to weigh-ins, too.
Right. I'll tell you a story about the team that won.
Okay. All right. Sure. So let's get into the Average Joe for this year. So, Matt, we had a good amount of teams did not come back to weigh-in because the fishing was not as good. We had 43 teams make their way back to weigh-ins. That is a total weight of 12,893 pounds.
0.20.
0.2, correct. The average weight equated to 299.84 pounds.
Right.
Okay, so that's the number that we're working off of right there. The closest team to that number weighed in 309.6 pounds. Team number 65, Common Kazi. They were 9.76. That was their variance. They were the closest to the average. But because they came back to weigh-ins with an average load of fish, they are going to get to win and go on a trip of a lifetime with a very experienced, successful bow fisherman in Corey Brossman. So cool that he does that for us.
And it's interesting because Tatanka Hunter was right behind that with 289.6 with a variance of 10.24.
Wow, that's pretty close.
So you had 9.76 and 10.24.
Yep, a 0.5 difference.
Yeah. So Team Kamikaze, they came back to weigh-ins. They weighed in their fish and stuff like that there.
Yep.
And once they saw the final results and where they were at, they were going to leave.
Oh, no.
Yep. But one of the players said, no. He says, we're going to stick around here. He says, never know. He said, we got some good prizes left.
Yep.
And who knows about the Average Joe? And I'll be darned, they won the Average Joe.
And if they would have left and we'd have called that ticket, or we'd have called their team name, if they were all gone, we'd have gone to the next closest team. Yeah. Yep.
So that's
cool.
pretty cool stuff right there.
Yep.
So moving on, we've got the Big Fish Awards.
Okay, gotcha. We'll do Big Fish first.
We've got the Big Fish Awards because I have my sheet here.
Oh, my gosh, that's right.
I have my sheet here from the last.
All right, we got to keep a tally of who's the closest for these.
Yes.
I'll put a little M or a D on my sheet here. All right, so to kick us off, Matt, the biggest buff. Weighed in the tournament. We had a 10 buff limit also for the tournament. At our scale, we only had one team that had 10 buffs. Kind of interesting. I don't even know if another team had 5 or 6, to be honest with you. But we did have one that had all 10 that they could weigh in. So the biggest buff weighed in at the 2025 AMS Big 20 by Team 67, Carp Munchers, weighed in 36.2 pounds.
Right. Yep.
Very cool.
36.2.
Should we run through all three of them, Matt, the first, second, third big fish teams, or we want to just run with the first one?
What did you guess for your heaviest buff?
For my heaviest buff, last week on the podcast, I guessed 41 pounds.
Oh, I was at 43.
Okay, so that's a tally in old Schmitty's direction there.
I guess 43.
All right, point for D. Schmitty. Okay, gotcha.
All right, Schmitty. Moving on to the heaviest common carp. This was also the overall big fish.
Yes, it was.
They won $2,160 also.
Yep. They had a double whammy of winnings here.
Went to team number 4, Indicarp Charters.
Yep.
Common carp weighed in at 38.2 pounds.
Beautiful. Big fish. Big fish. That's awesome. We'll have to definitely discuss that fish with Josh when he joins us here today.
Yep.
So, Matt, what did you have for
What did you have?
I had 42 pounds.
42. So the heaviest common carp was 38.2.
Okay, you're going to be really close. I can tell by the way you're laying this out.
I had 38.3.
What? Oh, my gosh.
You can go back and listen to the last podcast.
Wow. Okay. That is definitely a point in Matthew's direction.
Wow.
Okay, gotcha.
All luck on that one.
So biggest common, 38.2.
Yeah.
Moving on to drum. The biggest drum was shot by team number 63C's Guide Service.
Yes.
That drum weighed 15.2 pounds.
Nice.
Matt,
Nice.
what did you have last week for your guess on what the biggest drum was?
9.2.
Okay, I put 9.
Oh! That's a slash for old Matthew.
Ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
That should be a tie. That should be a freaking tie. Okay, you're up 2-1.
Moving on to the heaviest quillback, brought in by Team Bound. Heaviest quillback was 9.8 pounds.
Very nice, very nice. Matt, for quillback, I had 8 pounds.
Ooh, I was 5.7.
All right, tying it back up, baby. 2-2.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha. Heaviest dogfish for the tournament, Matt, shot by team number 57, IDFC.
IDFC.
Curious what IDFC stands for.
I know. I want to. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, the dogfish weighed 9 pounds.
Yep.
What did you have for your dogfish guess?
7.8.
All right, baby. 10 pounds for the old dogfish is what Schmitty had.
You can't win if you go over, though.
You are so full of it. Don't even. Yeah, you're great at bending the rules on these bets. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. On to the last one.
On to the last one. The heaviest gar goes to Team 27, Bloody Boat. Heaviest gar weighed 10.8 pounds. You're going to be so off on this one.
What did you guess, Matt?
7.5.
Okay, I thought that maybe with the weather conditions, people would have to
tied.
target different species. Let's just say I was a little over. I was a little over with my guess of 21 pounds, but we'll give that one to Matt right there. So we're tied right now, and I guess that it'll have to come down. The tiebreaker will be what we guessed for the total overall weight.
You're higher than a... Oh, yeah, right.
So what was your guess, Matt, for the overall winning weight?
I was way off on this.
What was your guess?
421.7.
Oh, my goodness, 421.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting. I guessed 545 was my guess. And the first place team weighed in closer to me than it did for you.
Yes, 564. So
I win 4-3. And you know what that means? You going to be wearing a dress with me on the podcast.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, yes. I won't be alone. It's actually funny because when we were sitting at weigh-ins, Jeff, our boss, he said that whoever wins this, the loser has to wear a dress. And he's the boss, Matt, so I think we should probably listen to him. So we're both going to be dressed up here in the future episode here.
You are wearing a dress all by yourself.
I got time,
That
brother.
was a true bet.
I've got
That was a true
time.
bet. You ain't going bow
I got
fishing.
time, brother. By the way, when are you going to take me bow fishing so I can shoot that?
Yeah, right.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, gotcha. So let's run into the big team, the winning teams, the payout teams here, Matt.
Oh, the big fish prizes.
Oh, yes, okay.
We had a megamouth reel.
Yep.
We had the Osprey donated by Oneida.
Yep.
We had the Efficiency Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA. We had a Saber X by Vader Bows.
Yep.
We had the RPM Striker donated by the Wisconsin Bow Fishing Association.
Lots of great prizes.
We had $500 donated by Miller Graphics and Vinyls.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean,
Lots
those
of
are
great-
some amazing prizes right there.
Right.
My
I mean,
goodness.
You bring in an 8-pound quilly, you might win something worth $4, $5, $6, $7,
Right.
$800. You never know.
Yep. Yeah, the heaviest gar got you $500 cash.
Yeah, right.
Wow. Nice. Moving on, Schmitty. He said we're going to move on to the fifth place team here, Schmitty.
Okay, yep,
All
we'll
right.
start at 5, yep.
Weighing in 428 pounds, winning $500 was Team Bound.
Gotcha.
Great job to
Yep,
those
nice
guys.
shooting to
Great
those
job.
guys.
Great job.
Fourth place, Matt, weighing in 473 pounds. Their big fish was 28 pounds. They won $1,000 out of Michigan.
Yes.
Grim Reaper Bowfishing with a
Very
fourth
nice.
place finish.
Very
Very
nice.
cool.
Very nice. Yep. Coming in third, actually, when I was on the scale, I think it might have been by Tim and them guys when they weighed in 428.
Okay.
And at that time, they bumped up into first
And
place.
that was the fifth place team that weighed in 428?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
And I was over there, and I was like, oh, I guess 428.
Who wrong?
Yeah, that boy. That really so moving into third place with a weight of 476 pounds, Bank Spankin' winning $2,500. Also a team from Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan representing over here in Wisconsin. Very cool.
That's great
Very
to
cool.
see.
Second place, Matt, weighing in 506.8 pounds. Their big fish was 33 pounds. They won $4,000 out of the Viking state of Minnesota.
Yes.
Complete Chaos was the team name. Fantastic shooting to those guys as well.
Absolutely did a great job. And your 2025 AMS Big 20 champions, weighing in 564.60 pounds. Their big fish was at 38.2 common, which also got them $2,000.
Yep.
Winning $10,000. Team Indicarp Charters out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, some homeboys representing.
Congratulations to all of those guys, all the winners of the big fish, the average Joe winners.
Yep.
Great job. Great job. Tough conditions. I did say in the previous podcast about how this could really change the game.
Yep, I know where you're going with this.
This could really change the game. I don't think none of these teams have ever finished in the top 5.
Yeah.
I heard the top 9 a couple times one team did.
Okay, gotcha.
But it was really great to see this here.
100%. All of the top 5 teams from this year's tournament had never finished in the top 5 before at these AMS Big 20s. So we got some fresh blood up on the
Absolutely.
in the money.
That was great to see. Just wonderful to see that.
Yep.
And we can't thank everybody enough for joining us on those days. Razor J's vending truck, my goodness, that's
so good.
Oh my, the fresh deep fried cheese curds, the bacon cheeseburger. I had a Philly steak and cheese. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. Yep.
Homemade cut French fries.
The cheese curds were ridiculous.
Holy
the double bacon
mackerels.
Cheeseburgers were ridiculous. I ate way too many of them. It was absolutely spectacular. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
We also had a guest appearance.
Oh, yes, we did.
Cranky the Carp appeared in a crate.
Yep. In
Cranky's
a big crate. Filled it with water so he could survive on it, obviously.
He squirted a little water out of there, and he got a kid in the leg right there.
Oh, that could be cold.
Yep.
That had to be cold, too.
Yeah, he can only speak a little bit because he wanted to get back to Lake Dexter because he had a few girlfriends that were waiting on him back there.
That's a dangerous night for him. He's got to be careful on the night of the Big 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So it was kind of cool to have Cranky join us and give us a little hello to all the shooters out there. So it was a great time. Too bad the weather was the way it was. But, man, Smitty, we had those vehicles out of here at takeoff in 6.5 or 7 minutes.
I think it was. I think the final count was right around 6 minutes 45 seconds.
Yeah, takeoff was great.
Yep.
Everybody leaving and taking off and waving to everybody and saying hello to everybody and good luck to everybody. And we had a bunch of you were watching it on Facebook Live. I was recording it Facebook Live there, and it's just so cool to see the different styles of boats that are coming through.
100%.
Big fancy airboats and to tiny, smaller little John boats to 18-footers, 20-footers, fans, trollers, kickers. It's just so cool.
Let me throw this little tidbit out here, Matt. We were talking to Corey and Brody yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Something very interesting as far as what the conditions can do to affect the technique or tactics that teams will use to try to get on fish, okay?
Oh, yes.
I don't know who the individual was,
Right.
but there was chatter going on in the parking pods. A couple guys were like, that dude up there, he owns a $90,000 airboat that he shoots fish out of all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a flat-bottom John boat with a trolling rig on it.
Yep.
What in the world does he know that we don't? I love that strategic. Everyone's like, what's going on here? That's
Change the
so
game.
cool.
Yeah,
100%.
change the game.
2 other notes, Matt, before we go to a commercial break. I was parking vehicles on Saturday.
Yep.
All right, you come down, you meet me on a wheeler, and I go and I park you. Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
5 different people asked me where the dress was. They said, hey, aren't you supposed to be wearing a dress? One dude was mean to me about it. He was mean. It hurt my feelings. He goes, why aren't you in a dress? I said, well, first off, we're just going to do that on the podcast. I'll be on the podcast. That's what I'll have it on. And then I said, plus, you never know. I got time to shoot a bigger fish than Matt. And he goes, I don't. You'll do that. I'm like, oh, okay, follow me to Pod C.
You just said, follow me to Pod Z.
Yeah, exactly. You get your team 85. Yeah. No, we put him in the right spot. But then one other guy, it took me a second to equate this. He rolls his window down and he goes, hey, Schmitty. I said, yeah, what's up? He goes, so, are they paying you to do this, or are you doing it for free this year? I said, we get paid to work the tournament. But remember, we discussed in that one podcast where I said, you know what? I have so much fun. I wouldn't even need to be paid for this. So he was curious if that ever, because then you made a comment like, well, you're going to be working for free this year. So we love to hear those little tidbits of you guys listening. That's so cool to hear that from you guys. That makes our day 100%. So
very cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, Matt, we'll jump into the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
Yes.
We're going to have Josh up here. He's probably on his way right now. So we'll chat with him about his historic
I'm really looking forward to that, to see about their scouting.
Yeah.
And their strategies with the changing weather and the barometric pressure changing and the cold front moving in. Really looking forward to listening to Joshua and hearing his story. We'll
get him up here. We'll ask him a couple questions right after this quick commercial break.
Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA. A color tone adjustable and dimmable light with a unique patented reflector design that puts more light where you need it. Efficiency Bowfishing Lights offer 3 different models. The 65-watt single-color economy light, the 65-watt Efficiency V2 tricolor dimmable light for maximum efficiency and versatility, and the 130-watt Efficiency Maximus, designed to be an all-out beast of a bowfishing light. Efficiency, designed and built by bowfishermen for bowfishermen. Check them out at OutdoorInnovationsUSA.com. Are you looking to elevate your bowfishing brand with stunning design solutions? Look no further than N Designs. Their team of talented designers is dedicated to bringing your vision to life. Whether it's t-shirts, hats, leather products, eye-catching logos, to captivating boat wraps, they have you covered. Plus, with their commitment to excellence and attention to detail, you can trust that your project is in good hands. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose N Designs for extraordinary results. Visit their website today and let's bring your ideas to life. N Designs, where creativity meets excellence. Have you found yourself wishing you could relive your bowfishing experiences out in the water? Introducing the Mag Pro H2O by Painted Arrow, the world's first magnetic smartphone mount designed specifically for bowfishing. The H2O is a universal mount that attaches to the front of any bowfishing boat. The mount will work with any smartphone by placing the Painted Arrow phone plate on the back side of your phone case. The H2O design features an integrated rubber security strap to ensure your phone doesn't fall off the mount when in action. Filming your experiences on the water has never been easier. To pick up your H2O mount or to learn more, please visit paintedarrow.com and don't forget to relive the catch. Use code AMS15 for 15% off your next order.
And welcome back, everybody. Episode 102 of the Bowfishing Buzz. He's with us live in studio. Josh Mertens, the captain of the first place team at the 14th annual AMS Big 20.
Congratulations, Josh.
Fresh
That's
off
awesome.
of sweet victory. Thank you for joining us, Josh.
Absolutely. I'm really happy to be here. Still can't believe we pulled it off this week. I'm pretty sure anybody says that they win it, but it's true. Like when you pull everything together in one night, it's just amazing.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's cool.
I can't wait to dig into some of your stories here and some of the stuff. Before we move on, you've done some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
Oh, my gosh.
That's not bowfishing related.
Right.
Yeah.
Jumping your four-wheeler how far?
We typically jump the minimum 70 feet, 75 feet, getting like 35 feet in the air. I used to do what's called freestyle motocross. Used to travel around with, we called ourselves Wisconsin FMX. There was 5 of us guys here locally in Neenah. The main guy, Cody Kavanaugh, Ed Rossi, Mike Keeper and Charles Bush. We were just a group of guys here, and we traveled around doing monster truck shows. We got ourselves in the PRCA rodeo, the biggest circuit. We jumped at Feld Entertainment, monster truck shows. We traveled all across the United States and performing for fans and stuff and doing autographs. Cool. Yeah, it was a wild, like about 13, 14 years of my life. It was pretty cool. Up to COVID is when I had a big change in my life.
Okay, gotcha. That's crazy.
I asked. It's really cool because you see these guys that are doing these tricks nowadays, and it's incredible. I saw some of your photos of you, on your four-wheeler, which usually you see guys on motorcycles. Yep. You was out there doing it on the four-wheeler and doing crazy tricks and stuff in the air and stuff. That's cool. You got any broken bones on you from all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, since you're on camera here, I mean, you can see that collarbone.
Oh, sure.
That's broken 3 times. the humerus here. I've broken my wrist. Let's not talk about the concussions. You know, I might be like Muhammad Ali later on or something. You know, that's one thing we worry about too. Kind of like the football players.
Yes.
You know, after all them concussions and stuff, like some of them top guys in our sport. You know, they you know, they got to worry about that stuff. So.
Wow. Right. That's great. How long were you doing that? How, you know,
so I started jumping. It was like for 14 years. I probably did shows for about 12 years straight.
No kidding.
There, through my younger 20s. I'll be 39 next month and stuff. And like I said, COVID kind of changed that. I jumped like the first year into COVID, and then met my wife. We just got married. Got a 4-year-old kid now.
Oh, awesome.
House, and that's actually the first time I ever went bow fishing is because of COVID.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I always wanted to do it growing up, but we had I was down in Louisiana. We just got done doing a show. The whole, like, you got to go home 3 weeks, you know, so we left the ramps and my buddies in Alabama. He was a world champion bullfighter. And know a lot of crazy people too. And we left our ramps there, and then 3 months later, you know, it was still COVID. So I was like, well, we got to go back and get our ramps. And then my 4-wheeler was on there, my buddy's dirt bike. So I went there, and he goes, well, you want to go bow fishing? You want to shoot some big gar? And I'm like, well, yeah. I've always wanted to do this. And now look what he did to me.
Yeah. Wow. That's
cool.
Amazing.
That is cool. Did you always grow up here? Did you grow up here in Wisconsin?
Yeah, I grew up. I graduated in Little Chute High School right there in the Fox Valley, and then I grew up. After I grew up, I lived in Neenah a lot, and now I reside out in Fremont, out before New London. There.
All right, sure.
Live out there, and that's where we reside right now.
Very cool.
That's
cool.
awesome.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So the guy in Louisiana, your buddy, got you kind of.
Well, we did a show in Louisiana, and then we had to leave our ramp somewhere. We left them at my buddy's in Alabama.
In Alabama, it was. Okay, so you went bow fishing in Alabama.
Yeah, for my very first time, we went up to a river, headed up to a dam system there, and then we just shot at, you know, big, you know, they're bigger, fatter, bigger gar than what we got here and stuff. And I was hooked.
You were hooked.
I was hooked. I was hooked. I immediately the next year, I asked my grandfather. He has his old 14-foot flat John boat. I'm like, hey, can I borrow that?
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's like, yeah, sure. He put a deck on it and some lights, and that lasted like what would have been like a year. And then I got my boat, and when I haven't stopped, we got a trolling motor, went to a mud motor kicker. We've done your tournament the last 3 years now, and the other 2 years have been horrible. Lost 2 trolling motors the first year. Last year I got that mud motor set up going, and the solenoid went out, so I didn't have a spare and nothing. And then this year we had some hiccups. We lost probably like an hour and a half of bow fishing, but we still, you know, we fought through it, and we made some corrections, and we got her done.
That's
so.
awesome. That's what it
very
takes.
Cool.
That's what
100%. It's an endurance thing, like you said. It's
right.
Who can stay running and shooting the longest. Equipment, trucks, trailers, everything comes into play.
Right.
Big time.
Absolutely.
So you kind of touched on it there, Josh. You've shot our tournament for the last 3 years, but like your teammates that you had this year, do you guys have a lot of tournament experience together?
No, not really. The first year, me and Keller are still the same ones on the team. Just with some people in lives and stuff, it changes and stuff. But Nick and James, which on paper, I think I have the advantage over anyone. Those are 2 left-handed shooters on my team.
Oh, wow.
So they rock the right side of the boat.
Yeah, sure. That's interesting. So,
so I do got 2 left-handed shooters on the team. James Gain and Nick Hall there. James is the one that shot that biggest fish.
Okay.
And then on my side, I got my good buddy Andy Keller, who's like my deckhand, comes on all my guides and stuff, and we followed up on that one with a double backup shot like immediately and stuff. So I got a pretty good, really good group of guys.
Absolutely, and that's really, you know, we talk about it a lot about tournament shooters, having that core team that knows their job role without you having to tell people what to do.
That chemistry,
where to go, what to do when this happens, who backs the boat, and who parks the truck, you know, who gets the stuff ready as you're going to your spot. That is key to having a good performing team, you know. And like you listen to your teammates there, I'm glad you listened to them because they deserve the credit. You're the team captain, so we call you in to come here, but your teammates did a great job.
Oh yeah, I mean the whole night, those guys, like you said, like we don't have a lot of experience in the tournaments. Actually, we just done the AMS the last 3 years, and then the first year we tried the Wisconsin Bowfishing state shoot also.
Okay.
And those are the only tournaments I've done so far. I've just spent a lot of time out in the water, especially with the guiding. I get a lot of time out there and stuff like that. But I mean, Nick was down in the trenches. He had his chest waders on. He was plugging, weighing, bagging them, you know, throwing them, organizing them every time we got one so I can stay driving. Sure. Because we were definitely up in some strong current. So, like, somebody had to be driving at all times. There's no, like, where we were fishing, man, like, you got to be on your game. Yep. And James can drive my boat pretty good and it's cool with him being the left hand. He doesn't have to trade off the bow or nothing to grab the steer stick.
Man, we need some southpaws on the boat,
man. I know. Those special guys they have use.
That's cool. Yep.
So
that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So Andy, he's been on all them guides, and he's the one shooting those 360 videos for us and stuff. He got a 360 Insta camera this year, and we're starting to get into making the videos and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean, everybody has their part. I mean, we got in the boat launch so fast. There was like 6 of us that pulled in the same parking lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow, interesting.
Yes, it was I wish we didn't have the camera. I wish this, like, to us, this was the most epic start. I'll never forget this night. We literally pulled in the parking lot. Right in front of us, some buddies that we meet them at the launch and stuff. We got a mutual friend that shoots on both of our boats. Risky Adventures, the big blue triple mud motor.
Okay.
Yep. They're really cool guys. Talked to Dan and Matt at the launches and stuff. And they pulled in right before us, but somebody already beat us. They, like, IndyCar is faster than pit stops in the NASCAR. They IndyCar that boat in. And as they're pulling out, we're literally pulling in like I always tell people, if they would have brake checked us, like we're going in right behind them. And then both our last guys get on the boat on the same time. We're racing literally to the same spot, you know, like their boat is obviously faster than my 90. So, but it was just an epic start. Like we beat the first guy in the parking lot, both of us in the water. Both teams were like so on point. It was really cool to see another team like just dialed. Dialed. And then behind them was like another 4 or 5 boats. Wow. So, I mean, so
you had company.
Oh, there was company. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We weren't the only ones on the same waters. We weren't the only ones that know the spot that we're up in and stuff. So, I mean, there was definitely competition and stuff. And I don't know, but we pulled it off.
That's awesome.
That's great. So cool. Yeah.
Yep.
You know what's so cool about this whole story is how you started. You know, you're running around the country doing all your tricks and stuff on your bikes and the rodeos and the monster trucks and stuff, and you just happen to go with the guy in Alabama bowfishing. You come back, you ask your grandpa or was it your grandpa?
Yeah, he helped me out with the 14-footer to get me started.
That's just the same that it happens to so many people that way.
They start small, they go with a guy, and all of a sudden, a couple years later, they're big into it.
Yeah, and my gosh, you're guiding now with Indicarp Charters.
Yep.
You're guiding people bowfishing.
Yeah.
You've only shot in a handful of tournaments and did damn well.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah. Your bowfishing career is relatively young. I mean, you haven't been doing it for a long time, and you have shot straight up through the ranks in those couple of years. Yep. That's very cool to see.
And you know, one thing that I'd like to point out also is when you guys registered for the Big 20, you were team number 4. So it's not like you found those fish and said, "Oh, let's get in the tournament." You were committed way back in March when we opened up registration, or February when we opened up registration. You were on the first day registered, so that's kind of cool too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we came to your tournament 3 years ago, and we just fell in love with it, and the people here, and just how it's ran, how you guys do everything. We just absolutely loved it, and so we're like, we're doing this. Like I didn't plan any guides around this tournament where everybody was like, "Oh, you're going to be at the state shoot in 2 weeks." I'm like, I got guides. Right. I got that guaranteed money. So I'm going to go chase that. And I started, and this is only my second year guiding. Last year is my first year with my license and stuff. So this is my second year guiding, and it's been blowing up. Like every customer that came back last year is repeating.
Good for you.
Stuff like that. And But yeah, we always wanted to come and do this tournament. And actually last year, the only reason why I registered so late, we went to a friend's wedding that was in the mountains, and I didn't have cell phone service. So
Oh my gosh.
we got like spot 30 last year. So, but I definitely know like it is key like to register. I mean, look at us like.
Right.
It turned into being a very good thing because it kind of, right away there's 4 boats almost up in the same area. It pushed other like, 5, 6, 7th boat. Like they pushed away from our area right away. They went off and explored somewhere else right away. So I definitely would recommend to people to pre-register for the tournament. It's definitely to be in the top. That top 20 slot is
good point.
It's a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. If you'd have slipped a couple spots, who knows what that would have done to you.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. So let me ask you this, Josh. Let's go back a little bit. What did the scouting aspect of things look like for you guys leading up to the Big 20?
Did you do a lot of scouting? Different areas?
So we all took off of work on Wednesday, and we headed over to the Mississippi, and we went out. First time we went out on Alaska. Never been on the Mississippi. Just did some research online and stuff like that, and just looked at like I always look at Google Maps too.
Absolutely.
And for backwaters and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, on Alaska looks like a good spot. I just know a lot of people are in La Crosse and south of there. I'm like, let's just try this out. And so we went out there, and we got out there like early and stuff, and we found like the smallmouth buffs were spawning.
Oh.
They were all over the place. We had a heck of a good time shooting them. We shot Nick shot like a 40-some inch gar, like a really nice, not as big as the one at the tournament, and that was a huge one.
Yeah.
But he shot a really nice gar, and we got a couple other ones too. We're not used to that around the Winnebago system.
Yep.
Like there's some, but not like that. We've gotten a couple like maybe 40 inches here in the Winnebago system, but not that the girth like they do in the Mississippi there. So it was a really good day, but we never really saw the fish that we were looking for, to win this tournament. So then on Thursday, and then we actually on the way home stop and hit the north side of Petenwell. Because you cross on the way back for us, you cross right there the Wisconsin River. So, and again, it was real murky. Didn't really see what we were looking for.
Yep.
So Thursday we went and scouted this area, and it was hot. And I'm pretty sure all them other boats knew this spot too, because they all went to the same place.
Isn't that crazy when it happens?
Yeah. So we're not, and then the guys at Risky Adventures, they know where I'm fishing too. Like they know that's one of the boat launches we met at. That's a lake they have shot many years. So we're not the only ones, that know where we're fishing and stuff. And that was pretty hot. So we practiced some up in the current on the smaller commons and just get that shot down. And we do shoot weighted arrows to help up in that a bit. And so we practiced a bit, and we're like, okay, we like what we see here. Yep. And then Friday night we went out where I guide a lot on the Winnebago, out on like Butte and Poygan and stuff. And again, a lot of guys, same thing. They all know these areas. I see some of the same boats throughout when I'm there. Some of my competition during my guides, and stuff. But I didn't see what I've been on a lot of buffaloes. I had a lot of customers. Like one night they got 3 30-pound some buffs and a 30-some pound common and stuff.
That's awesome.
And getting my customers some nice big fish. And we went out there and we weren't seeing their backs ripping, the water. We weren't like chasing them around at all or nothing. Like, and I'm like, man, it's this weekend, because I had a guide like right in the end of April. It was like the same kind of weekend, cold, rainy, and stuff, and we didn't see a lick of a thing, like maybe 10 fish. And those guys, he's a young guy actually getting deployed here at the end of next week. And so I'm like, well, I don't have a guide tomorrow. Let's go back out. It was a way different day, and way different fishing. Like they had a heck of a time, got themselves a 33-pound common and a couple really nice buffs and stuff too. And but I guide a lot out there and stuff, and I'm like, these fish are going to be so shut off. Like, we're going to have to be in some kind of current. We're going to have to be in some kind of moving, deeper water where you can see, because out in the middle of the lake, right now in this time, you really can't see them.
So you're already thinking about the weather.
Yeah. We were thinking about that, because actually our plan Thursday night was to go shoot the bay. We haven't never been out in the bay yet. That's like one of our areas we want to get to. got some friends that go out there and they're like, yeah, go up here and stuff. And we'll give you a couple places to go and check out, but we're like, the wind.
Yeah.
The wind's going to be horrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to be out there on that water. And I'm like, I know a lot of other guys shoot that too. So I'm like, we're already, there's going to be people out there regardless with the wind.
Right.
But we're going to have competition plus the wind. And plus we're rookies out there yet, I mean, we're pretty good at finding them and getting them. But I'm like, I wouldn't feel so confident going out there.
Sure.
If it was a calm, nice, clear day and, we can go chase them around out there. But we were like, we'll just scratch that.
Yeah,
so
you don't want to mess in Green Bay.
Yeah. So
bad winds.
Yeah. So we scratched that like right from the, right on our way back from the Mississippi. We're just looking at the weather and we're like, this is not the right call. We need to, and that's why we choose our spot to go to.
Sure.
We had really good luck up there. We fished that a lot.
Sure.
So that was like the first place that I fished. I ran that lake down for like 2 years. So I know at the back of my hand. So
that's cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Wow.
Yep. So tournament day, you guys roll in, get to your spots. How you feeling with the kind of the weather? You're on good fish.
Yeah.
Do you think those fish are going to hold? Were you pretty confident in that, Josh?
Yeah, I was pretty confident. They definitely were not the numbers like they were earlier in the week.
Okay.
Definitely not, because people weren't finding them around further out in the current, like that you could have found them anywhere a couple of days ago. But that weather definitely shut them off, and so we're feeling good, but also worried. I mean, it's definitely worried, just with that weather and the low barometric pressures and everything. Like it was definitely not a weekend for bowfishing. It's very turn off. So was a little nervous, but also we were trying to shoot some footage with that 360 camera. I made that microphone,
that's cool.
The AMS bottle reel, and went around and spoke to the Wisconsin wild man, like Casey Lee, the Risky Adventure guys. I got a little interview with you.
Yeah.
Obviously talked with Chris and Chelsea from Easy Fish and stuff. The only sad thing was our action was all right away in the beginning of the night. And there's a lot of low covering stuff. We didn't get the camera out right away, so a lot of the hot action.
You missed her.
Yeah, in a boat race across the lake. There's just so much going on so fast.
Hard,
it's hard to get the camera out. But so just kind of forgot about that wariness, hanging out and everybody here is so cool at the tournament. I got a couple other guys that come here and shoot the tournament. Peyton's one of them. He used to hit me up about jumping freestyle motocross. He was trying to jump ramps and what do I got to do to get into shows? And then I, tell him. And then all of a sudden I got into bowfish and I'm like, hey,
time to
buddy,
return the favor.
What's up? How is this done? Kind of. And, so he's always giving me some pointers and stuff and leading me on to different arrows and things like that. And, but they shoot, you see people like that here and stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the few times you get to catch up with everybody. So I just got into, talking and hanging out with everybody. That worry was kind of off until after the driver's meeting where you're going to the truck. And it's okay,
this is it.
It's time.
Yeah. Kind of like when I was jumping, it's one thing when you're at the event, but when you're actually putting that gear on, putting the helmet on and strapping the boots, you're like, all right, stuff is about to get real.
It's go time.
Yeah, it's go time.
Great perspective right there. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool.
So that night, Josh, you guys had your little boat landing situation. You guys are racing somebody across the water. Once you guys started shooting fish, how did the night lay itself out? Did you guys get some big fish right off the bat? Was it more of a later in the night move in for those fish? What did that look like?
Our night was, we kind of waited around until it got dark. I mean, because with the overcast, there were no light.
Yeah.
So you couldn't see anything when you first got out there. And so we just kind of held tight up in our spot, until the light, came on. And then, another boat joined us up there. And, and then we all moved into our spot and, right off the bat, we were on fish.
Nice.
And a lot of our big ones were taken in the first 3 hours.
Oh,
really?
Wow.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
A lot of them. We ran for a while and then something happened with one of my battery banks, which we were up there for about 4 and a half hours. And then we had to pull back to the launch for that battery bank. But at that time we had a lot of our fish at that time, because throughout the night they did chill down, get pushed out, because there's 2 of us in a small area.
Right.
They got pushed out, and that weather too, because we went around more of the lake and checked out more of the river and stuff, and I barely found any. The only ones we did find was more in the deeper of the river, and it wasn't many, and it was very few, and nothing that was bigger or anything of what we had.
Yeah.
Sure.
Do you remember the first fish that you guys put in the boat by chance? Do you just remember that what it was?
It would have been a common. It was mostly all commons. The buffaloes did come out later.
Okay.
So like after we went back to the vehicle because we brought the generator just in case, because I'm running the battery bank now that have those Easy Fish lights because they such a low amp draw on them and everything. So I've been running those, but just in case, I can plug in my generator, and the battery chargers can outcharge the lights because they're so efficient. And since the name, they're so efficient.
Right.
So we got the generator plugged in, and we just let them charge for a little bit, and then we got back up in our spot, and that's when we started noticing a lot more of the buffaloes at that time.
Nice.
And that's when we actually got like 3 of our, we had like 3 of them that were like 30-some pounds there.
Nice. Those are good. I mean, getting those fish when you kind of really don't expect them are huge.
Little bonus like that, 100%.
They're huge in these tournaments.
Yeah. When did that big common make its way in?
That was towards the end of like the first time we were up there.
Okay.
Like, so that was about the 3-hour mark that we were up in there.
Okay.
We actually had Nick stuck another one about the same size up there. We lost that one. We just couldn't, the fast current, I mean, the arrows rip out easier. I mean, we are shooting the Mega Mouth 4-barb anchor locks.
Quad locks.
Quad locks. Sorry. The quad locks, and we shoot razor tips for the tournament. But it's really rocky too, so we end up having it going into our the Cyclones that we had with too and stuff. So we lost that one. I shot one probably about the same size, but my line was wrapped around my reel. Like it hit it. But then all of a sudden my arrow was dangling there at the end of my line. I'm like, why is it not sinking? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, you could feel it hit that fish. But we lost 2 fish that were probably 35.
Wow.
Or between that and what James shot. There's definitely some 30s that we lost. But that's the game you play once you start going in like fast current, rivers and dams, and you get in those situations, and them fish, like, it seems like every time you hit one, they go like underneath the boat, and they try to rip that arrow right out of them. But like I said, like James is that one that he got, like immediately me and Keller were right on top of it with a double back up.
Nice.
I mean, like bam, like
good
within like a second or two. So, we really secured that fish really well. That's like our biggest motto in the boat is put another one in. There's not enough arrows that can't be in that fish.
Yep. So you get that big 38-pound common in the boat.
Yep.
You take a little time to do a little high five, or do you just right back to business and get back on there?
There was a little excitement because when we weighted on our scale, and I think probably it lost a lot of blood with the 3 arrows being in it. When we weighed it was like 39.1 in our boat. But I do have like the scale you use for the
Clow scale.
Yep. And we do use that, but I mean, it's always right in my boat. So not saying your guys' scales are wrong, but I know that fish lost a lot of blood also. But that was James's biggest PR.
Wow. What a time to cash in that.
Personal best, PB. Personal best. Yep. So because his biggest one was just earlier in the year, he shot like a 38, exactly 38-pound buffalo and stuff one night when we were out and shot like 100 and some fish. But he pulled in, a solid, lock there with, especially being the biggest common and the biggest fish of the tournament.
Right. Yeah.
That was a huge. Nice. We were excited, but right away we went right back at it because it was hot. Like it was hot. You just smoked that one, okay, where's the next Moby? Where's the next Moby whale coming through? So, we were just right back at it. And we just kept going.
Very nice.
So let me ask you this, Josh. At any point throughout the night, maybe it didn't happen at all. Did you relay it to the team? Did you think it at all in your head of like, we might win this damn thing?
Yeah, there was some thought of that. Like when it started getting, like when we first went back to the launch, we were looking at our fish. We were like, we might have a chance. Like we should be able to place today. just how, because everybody here likes to talk and hang out and stuff. And a lot of people, I mean, you're going to get the BSers and stuff like that. Not everybody's going to tell you the 100% truth, you know, but everybody was saying, though, they weren't finding fish.
Right. Dirty water.
Dirty water.
Yes.
The wind, especially with the fan boats and pusher guys, that wind is horrible for them and stuff. You know, just lucky for us that, you know, we were on a mud motor kicker setup. So we don't have to deal with the wind as much as those guys, but just a lot of people were not finding the fish. But obviously the people that all came to the same place we did, they were there and they knew there was some fish there.
Were you worried about them guys?
Yeah, I was worried about them, but not everybody, their setups, they can't always go where you can go. So that is one big advantage. And with our setup, I got the folding steering stick, so I can drop it to the deck and I can still drive it. It allows you to go under and into places.
Nice.
And because I'm always out in the river systems a lot.
Yeah.
And you always got trees, or there's a down tree you need to get under to get up in that bayou and stuff like that. So, and we always fished like the Winnebago system. There's a lot of bridges and stuff like that to go under.
Sure.
So we made the setup so that we can get into places. Because when I first got that boat as a troller, people were like, well, you're gonna go a pusher or get a kicker. And I'm like, well, the way I fish and how I fish and where I fish, I'm probably going to not go with a fan, just because I always get in these low places. Or I've even snuck that boat through a freaking giant culvert. Like, you know, like, we just did it to did it. There wasn't really anything special on the other side, but we did do it one time just to say we did it.
Sure.
So
that's cool.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's a big key when these guys, you know, all these guys here, they put so much effort and energy into your boat. I mean, to set it up the way you fish, right? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Like, somebody that's not going to work for anybody.
Exactly.
You know, like how we set up, you know, where you know, a different day, different weather, you definitely would want to be in that pusher fan going over the weeds and the super shallows where, I mean, I have a mud motor where I can pretty much go almost anywhere, but still it gets hard in some of them places like that still, where it'd be like, man, it would be nice to have a fan on this boat.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And we get asked that question a lot.
We did a podcast on it not that long ago on that Q&A. Which bowfishing boat is best was the question.
There is none.
And it's all situational.
Exactly.
Yep.
Like ours was the winning one that night. Like everybody, you know, I like the comments like, oh, the old John boat took out the fan boats. You know what I mean? You know, it's the comments, but I mean, totally different games. That wind was different. You know what I mean? Yes. I mean, but that's bow fishing. That's a tournament, you know, what it comes to that day, who had the best equipment, the best setup. It's just like racing, you know, who has that car tuned in, who has it, you know, all the, you know, everything figured out, smoothed out, you know, and then like, even something happens, you just, we were able to work through it this year and just power through the small hiccups that we had, and we still made it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So you're sitting back there in the culling line, weighing your fish, culling your fish that aren't going to be weighed in. You see other teams that are coming in. Feeling pretty good down there?
We were feeling pretty good on the drive back.
On the drive back.
On the drive back, because we knew about the smallest fish that we'd be weighing in. It was around 24 pounds. Granted, on a normal year here, that probably wouldn't, like, we had like 3 24s and 1 25. On a normal year here, I feel like we would have had to get rid of, we would need those to be like 27, 28, 30s to win on the normal weather, good weather year here. But we were feeling pretty good because what everybody was saying. Right. And I talked to Casey Lee on the way back. He messaged me, and it didn't sound like he had, and he goes, he didn't make it sound like anybody was doing too good that was already here. So we were like, oh boy, like, I mean, I feel like we got, we're placing today. You know, that's what we thought. We were like, I think we can place. Like, this is gonna be cool. Like, we might be able to place today. And then once we pulled up and, you know, got our tag in, we showed up just 20 minutes before 8 there, because we were just trying to fish area. And it didn't matter actually, like that night, probably like the last 2 hours, we didn't change a fish in our lineup, you know, and we maybe saw one that we could have replaced with, but it wasn't anything, you know, like James's fish or no big 33, 35 pounder to make a huge difference or anything. But we fished it till the end, you know, and then, but yeah, when we started weighing out our fish and laying them out, and we were like, oh, okay, we're looking pretty good. And then a couple of other guys, you know, because other people see and other people check out, and a couple, like 2 or 3 guys that came up, and they're like, you're doing pretty good. You got what we seen. You're doing good.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh boy. Like, come on. Like,
Now you start
serious?
thinking,
Yes.
now it's in the back of your head.
Yeah,
Could
now
we
it's-
win it?
Yeah. Then it really is. I'm like, guys, we might have not just a place, but like top 3.
Yeah.
Like, we got to be maybe a top 3. And we were like, oh boy. Because especially with James's fish, like, we were like, dude, that counts for a lot of weight there. And,
Yep.
and
Absolutely.
stuff. So then we pulled up because we had to dump because we only ended up bringing 1 trash can and the 3 totes. So we ended up starting to throw fish on the floor. We still shot like a bunch of fish and stuff. So we had to dump a bunch of fish. And then when we pulled up and came up by you guys, when we were starting to come up there, I forget the guy's name and his fan boat, but an older gentleman. Older than me. He's not that old, but an older gentleman. He's like, we only had the towel.
Yes.
We had towels on the fish down in the totes. And at that point, we just put the one right away on the big one. And then we were waiting. He goes, man, you put the towels on them. Like, those are some nice fish. He goes, that's what you put you had towels on, right? And he goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, put them on there. And so we're like, yeah, but I mean, usually it's better on a sunnier day, and we wouldn't think they were going to dry out that much or anything. But he goes, for sure though, like come up with the towels, and then just when we pulled up there by you guys by the scale, I think a couple of people heard that we had some decent ones, and then rolling up with the towels. Everybody kind of like started to linger over and see. And then when we pulled out that big comment, everybody, we heard a couple of woes, out there, and that felt really good. And then hearing your guys' weight of the 38.2 and then saying it's the biggest comment so far taken, that
You gave the old,
that was so
excited.
cool how pumped up you guys were.
Yeah, and I mean, and really the reason why we're so pumped is such a young team, and just where this has all come from so fast.
Sure.
And just the amount of support I have, the push me for this, that excitement's for all of them too. And, but when you guys announced that we just got the biggest comment, and we knew there's only I think there was 7 or 8 boats behind us.
Yep.
And when we're driving up, we didn't see anything too spectacular. There was a boat or two that had some decent ones on. They were like, oh, okay, but the other guys didn't really look like they had too much. So we were like, oh boy. And when you guys said that fish, I'm like, yes, like, oh my gosh, we just biggest fish, couple boats left, and then start putting them fish in the barrel and weighing them, and then waiting for her to say we just took the lead. Like, that was
how'd that feel? Yeah.
Oh my God, that was ecstatic. Like, just knowing, I know that we maybe have not won yet, but I knew at that point from what we saw on the boats, we got a top 3. Like, without a question, we should be top 3. And just to walk out of here with the plaque as such rookies in this sport would just be ecstatic. Ecstatic for me, my business, like every aspect. And, like any guys out here that do this, they put their heart and souls in it. You spend many nights away from your family, with the kids and, the wife, like, I got to go bow fishing again. Well, you chartered all week. Well, we got to go practice Wednesday night for the team, and stuff like that, So, which we did a couple, with the guys. It's hard to get the guys in the boat, and so we got some practice on like Wednesday nights or something, go out and stuff. But so that's what all the cheering and hooting was about. That
was great.
And just knowing that it was
just
to even hear that we were in the lead, like even if we were the first boat, we could come in. Just to hear we were in
first place.
We're number 1. Like, so
you came to my scale, Josh, when you guys weighed in. When you came pulling around, just a couple notes from this weigh in. When you came pulling around and you had those towels on the fish. Myself, Justin, who was up there working with me, and Alyssa, who was writing the weights down, all 3 of us were like, oh, okay. They got towels over the fish. This is going to be interesting. You could see the crowd behind us migrate over to our side to watch weigh-ins. When you guys put that 38-pound comment in the barrel, I don't know which one of your teammates it was, but they're like, show me 38. Show me 38.
I'm pretty sure it was James.
And then Alyssa goes 38-2, and the way you guys reacted was so
awesome.
Cool to see
Love
that.
to see that.
So then what we do is we take that big comment and we set it aside, and then we tear 3 other barrels on there, which those 3 barrels were plump full. As we're filling them, I'm like, we should have done 4. We had to really lift them back up on there. But then what happens there is we read out the weight of those 19 fish that you guys weighed in. And one of you guys is like, oh, man, that's really good. You know, whatever it was.
Right.
And then Alyssa goes, well, then you add your 38-pound comment to that total.
I thought that was in there already.
And you guys were like, oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I couldn't believe because as soon as she announced 564, I was like, oh wow. Like,
That was great.
wow, that's why we were having problems getting on plane on the way back.
Yes,
right. I was
exactly.
like, holy smokes. Like, wow, those things are heavy. And I couldn't believe it. And and because somebody's like, that's first place. And she's like, oh yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
by a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like how she reacted, I was like, oh dude, like, I mean, I don't want to overdo it, but like we probably got first. But I'm like, we're placing.
Yep.
We're placing. And so just all that excitement. I mean, everybody on my team has dedicated a lot. I mean, they all have helped with that boat. I mean, that kicker rig didn't come on. We put that on ourselves and everything. Just everything about that boat we've done, so it's just over ecstatic the come in place. And I mean, there's a tough competition here.
Absolutely it is.
I mean,
yeah.
I watch Maverick, the Wisconsin Wild Man.
Yep.
I watch him, and this guy just kills it out there. Every time he goes out.
Right.
And same thing with like Risky Adventure. I know those guys, they slam big fish all the time. And that young guy Brody, that young kid, he's got a bunch of. Is it Brody?
Brody. I'm trying to think. Brody Brossman is Corey's son. He's like 12.
Well, the one that was on the fan boat this year was handing out prizes with you guys.
Oh, yeah, that was Brody.
Was it Brody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
but Brody, doesn't he have some records and stuff?
He's got a few from the East Coast over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Yep.
they're both fishermen. His
Right.
dad knows. They know
Right.
what's going on.
Yep.
I mean,
Right.
these people around here are really good people.
You darn right they are.
To be able to compete with these guys on this level, just being such rookies into this was just mind blowing. You know, just and I mean, I know different weather, it could be different circumstances, but now I really feel like we come back next year, we can come swinging, and we can. We're here with these guys now.
Good for you.
And
Yes,
I feel
good
like
for
we
you.
put
Yep.
ourselves a place and a name in the tournament world. Be like, hey, these guys, they're new, but we do know what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So, don't forget about us next year.
That's right. That's right. Yep. Exactly.
You've been etched in stone for the rest of time in one of the biggest bowfishing tournaments in the world.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not only did you compete with them, Josh, you were the best of the best this past weekend.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool. That's awesome to see.
We get to add your guys' photo to the I don't know if you
wall.
saw it, the wall downstairs in the garage where we had all the past winners of the Big 20.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we
yet.
got all the pictures of all the past winners of the Big 20. And Team Indicarp Charters is going to be added to that, baby.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I know this is one of the bigger tournaments in this area. I mean, this year we had 73 boats. I think last year it was like 83.
87, yep.
Yeah, I mean, you guys always have a great turnout. I mean, we had out-of-state shooters.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that they took second, third, and fourth.
Yes,
and I saw
that is crazy.
I was like, Team Wisconsin,
Right.
we can't let them guys sneak in,
Yep.
I mean, I love our neighbors, but we always have that rivalry, everything, football, drinking.
The border
all that.
battles.
Yeah, all the border battles always.
Yeah.
So it was like, we held her down for Wisconsin, and the fifth place team was a Wisconsin team.
Yep.
And most of the teams are, but, we don't want somebody from the outside
No.
sneaking in here.
No. Yeah,
Take
Michigan and Minnesota, they represented well at the Big 20 this year.
Oh, yeah. They came strong, and those guys obviously know what they're doing. I mean, they definitely came to play, and they came and proved that. I mean, even with the bad weather and not I don't know where they shot. Maybe they shot the Mississippi, where they're familiar, but still to come in, this is not their area, and to come in and do that well, that's awesome.
Yep.
And love seeing it. Love seeing like Brody out there, the youth shooting with the team. That's my dream. I got a little 4-year-old, so I'd like to have, getting him out and stuff like that. So it's a really awesome atmosphere, great people here. And but some stiff competition. Like they were talking, the guy that donated that charter, he said we could take 10 people from up here, take them down south, and we'll
Corey,
give them a run for their money. Yep, Corey. Yep, we'll give them a run for their money, and I truly believe that statement. I mean,
Absolutely.
we got some really hardcore Wisconsin boys are a little
doubt.
wild.
Yeah.
So.
No doubt. Were any of those teams that were shooting close to you back there in the culling area when you were back there, or had they come through already?
No, I didn't see.
So you didn't know what they had then, or nothing?
No, we didn't know what they had or what they ended up pulling out of the same area. Because the one boat was up with us, another boat was right behind us because they couldn't get through all the way up to where we can with their setup, and they just sat right there and picked off fish as they came back through on the current and stuff. So I don't know how them other two boats exactly did.
Okay.
But I just feel like that we getting there first, hitting that spot, and we were the first ones to run through. We definitely got a lot of the pick of what we want to shoot, and that is huge. So I mean, I definitely recommend to anybody. If you thinking about doing this tournament, I would pre-register.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of us though, keyboard warriors. They're the stroke of 6.
Waiting.
And I'm impressed that I was like 4. I'm like, because the risky adventure guys, they were ahead of us. No, they were behind us. I forgot who. Somebody was ahead of me, and I'm like, how did you type faster than me? I couldn't do it any faster. Like, but we got number 4 this year, and yeah,
that was a huge benefit.
Yeah, it was a huge benefit in that, especially when 6-7 trucks roll into the same parking lot.
No kidding.
At the same one launch.
Right. Yeah.
At pretty much the same time.
Yep.
I don't even know who came behind them. I mean, there could have been another couple more
Right,
boats. That's
right.
just what I saw when we went across the lake. So I wouldn't be surprised there was more boats there, because it's on the Winnebago system holds great fish.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's why I guide out there. It's a great system. There's other guys that are splitting off of 10 going to other places on the Winnebago system too. So I mean, there was a lot of guys that came down this way because
it's so fun when you leave here and you get about an hour away or whatever, and you're still seeing boats in your mirror, like,
Yep. We're all on the same page here.
And then you turn it on here, and they're like, they keep following you.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, turn off, go somewhere else.
Well, those risky adventure guys, as soon as they didn't go straight to head to Oshkosh, and they went, they're going to the same place because we shoot the same lake.
Right,
It's one of our mutual lakes that we both shoot on, and I was like, he's going to the same spot.
Yep,
So we knew that, and we followed them right in the parking lot. And then, like, I didn't notice everybody else behind us because my truck, I've had problems with it the last 4 years getting a new motor in that 06 diesel of mine, and it's been a problem child. Got it running good now, but that whole endurance thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't trust this thing to make it there and back and make it through the night. So we have my buddy's Jeep Cherokee. It pulls it just fine.
We talked about that.
Yeah. It's just, it pull it because that's a V8. So it pulls it just fine, but you can't really see the other boats behind you. So when we came in the parking lot until we actually parked, then I could see the train of like the truck and trailers were out of like the parking lot pretty much of the guys trying to get in there. So but we're like that, man, like we were way better taking his Jeep over my diesel just for the fact of that we know that truck's going to make it there and back for sure.
Right.
And it pulls the boat pretty good, and he's got a brake controller on there. So, and that boat's really not that awful heavy.
Right.
So it pulls really good behind that. But I do like my diesel. It matches like my boat and everything. So it looks a little bit cooler, but like I said, that whole endurance thing, it's a real thing. You can't swap out trucks here.
Right.
You can't swap a boat. You can't have a friend pull you back. You can't do anything like that.
Right.
So that's definitely something you need to think about.
Exactly.
You can't bring the old, just the old farm truck that you revive and brought back to life that you should have maybe took out in the back pasture.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
well, Josh, you have Indicarp Charters.
Yep.
How can somebody find you on social media platforms? You got a websites or anything you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah. So my website is just like my name, indicarpcharters.com. We got a webpage there. It's got like the basic pricing and my phone number and everything on there, some basic information. With the social media, it's the same name. I'm looking to expand on that because we're doing the 360 instant videos, but I do got a Facebook with a lot of that camera stuff on there, and the photos of like all my guides always do a picture of their first fish and then their biggest fish.
Nice.
So, we definitely like to put that up on the social media so you can check out what we're doing and how my customers have been doing. And then Buddy started a YouTube too, because for that 360 camera, we've been making the videos. And it's the same thing. It's Indicarp Charters. All of it.
Okay.
Indicarp Charters. You can Google us too. It pops up on Google. We're like the third one on the bow fishing, because we got a couple other good guides out here too. Triple C's comes and shoots your tournament. They got a fan boat, and they're on the east sides. Modified Outdoors is another popular guy here and stuff. And there's another guy that just started this year too and stuff.
Al Brusky just started this year.
Nothing perfect.
Nothing perfect.
Nothing perfect. He's a guide service out here too. And I know there's a couple more guys that do the bay and stuff too. But we're still small knit. I mean, I don't think there's more than 10 of us out there and stuff, but everybody's always really cool captains, and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, definitely choose Indicarp Charters. We're AMS Big 20 winners.
That's right, 100%.
So we'll definitely get you on some fish. So don't be afraid to hit me up. And if you got any questions, my number's out there on my webpage, my Facebook, stuff like that. So if anybody's ever got a question, just hit me up. I'm always on the social media because of that. So like if you have any questions about bow fishing or the rig and the setup, I'm always on Bowfishing Nation Facebook page answering. That's because that's how I got a lot of this where I am is just hitting up the even the social media of our world. I mean, you get the few guys that are smart about when you ask a question, but most of the people are like, yeah, this is what I did, how I did it, go and talk to this guy. And a lot of these businesses like Christopher and Chels with Easy Fish, when you call, it's the owner. It's Chris.
Right.
You're not, and like you guys here, it's you guys, the people. Because how many you guys only got like 8 people, like
including the owners? 10 of us are here.
Right.
Yeah, 10 of you. You are dealing with
directly
the people.
with this.
You're dealing with the bow fishers. I mean, you guys bow fish, Chris. I mean, a lot of like the bow fishing shop, like all these places, it's all bow fishermen. So the community is unbelievable. That's reminds me of my motocross family, a tight-knit family, and everybody's willing to help share the information and, point, new people in the right direction. Yeah. So.
Yep, very cool. And we'll put up your links and stuff on our social post too, and we'll put it in our YouTube video as well. We'll put the address up there and stuff for you.
Awesome.
But congratulations, Josh. That was it was great to see. I loved seeing you guys' emotion coming with those big fish. You guys were jacked up. You're excited. I love to see that. Holding up that big, the $10,000 check. You guys were all pumped up for that too, and weighing those big fish. It was great to see, and congratulations, man. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thanks for shooting, man. It was great to see you this past weekend, too.
Yep, we look forward to seeing you next year, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we'll definitely be back, and I mean, we'll plan on probably doing this tournament forever. I mean, it's just, what you guys do here is absolutely amazing. You guys also are part of the guide program with Megamouth and AMS, which I'm a part of, and I mean I can't thank you guys enough for the support and everything you guys do and the research and development. I mean, like that you guys got some of the best equipment out there, and we love shooting it, and you guys put that same heart and soul into your tournament. And I mean, we used to do our own little freestyle fest thing and put on a little event at Buddy's Hobby Parent Farm. It's a lot of work. Yeah. It takes a lot of dedication. You got to like what you're doing. You got to like it because it's a lot of headaches and dealing with a whole bunch of people. It's not always easy.
Right. So, that don't get a lot of sleep too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's the thing. And then we would do that and then have to jump, like put it all together and set it all up and everything. And then like, I would understand why you guys don't go and shoot because how would you guys shoot and then be functional the next morning still to do all what you guys do. So I understand why you guys don't shoot in the tournament and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, what you guys do here is amazing. So we'll always be back, and hopefully this ain't the only time we can have this conversation.
Yes,
definitely. Be trying to strive to be the best every year. And, like I said, we got some stiff competition, so we're going to have to bring it every year because now we got a target on our back.
That's right.
So.
That's cool. Josh also brought us some of his Indicarp Bowfishing shirts. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, oh, my gosh. Awesome. We'll have to wear them on the pod. Wear them out and about. That's awesome.
Yep. We're not kicking Josh out right now, but we're going to continue with our podcast. He's going to sit here and join us here for that.
Yep.
But, yeah, I think it's time to I do have to give a big congratulations to Team AMS Bowfishing, finishing third down at the Bass Pro U.S. Open.
Yes.
They had a weight of 629.80 pounds. Lance Brantley, Gunnar Hagen, Noah Brewer, great job down there on the first big tournament of the year that those guys competed in. Team OCD finishing in second place with 764 pounds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And coming in first was Team Pug Uglies. They've done the tournament a couple times.
Yeah. Yep. I know that name.
808.50 pounds. They had some tank grassies.
That's crazy.
Giant grassies.
I think they only weighed in 18 grassies, too.
Yeah, I think they had a couple of
and then 2 gar to make their 20.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, the funny thing is all this talk in the years have been about the big heads. The big heads. Big heads are dominating. Big heads are dominating. Now you can't complain anymore, airboat guys.
Exactly.
You can do it.
Yep. Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. No more complaining from the airboat guys on grassies and stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. I think it's time for...
Oh, boy. His favorite segment. Let's see what we got today.
Yeah. Get ready for Fish That You Wish. This fish comes to us from the state that invented Mountain Dew in the 1930s as a new drink to mix with whiskey.
Oh!
The beloved moon pie was also invented in this state. Birthplace of Davy Crockett, Morgan Freeman, Dolly Parton, Tina Turner, and Justin Timberlake.
Good Lord.
I'm talking the volunteer state of Tennessee. This fish was shot April 25th, 2016 by Jesse Basil. With a length of 48 inches, this black buffalo cranked the scales at a hefty 72.5 pounds, making it the BAA Tennessee state record.
Wow.
And that's a fish you wish you shot.
Go back through. How long was it? 48?
42 and a half inches.
42 and a half.
No, 48 inches. You're right. 48 inches.
Okay, 48 inches. And what was the weight on it?
72.5.
And that's a black buff?
That was a black buff.
Holy cow.
I believe Jesse Basil also shoots on Team OCD, who finished second at the U.S. Open.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Nice.
Huh.
Nice.
Huh. I love your little intros to the state there. That was pretty cool.
Oh, how about the old beloved moon pie?
That's
Came
insane.
out of the state of Tennessee.
One, it's got Mountain Dew, which my drink of choice whenever, Diet Mountain Dew. Nectar of the gods. You love your moon pies. It gave us some amazing music artists, and it's got big old buffs.
Yeah.
What a state. Good
Old
Lord.
volunteer state.
Cool. All right. Neat.
So with that, we're going to wrap up episode 102 of the Bowfishing Buzz. Brought to you by AMS Bowfishing and
Megamouth Bowfishing as well, our fantastic sponsors, Efficiency Bowfishing Lights by Outdoor Innovations USA, End Designs Leatherwork and Embroidery, and Painted Arrow, a new sponsor for this year.
Very nice. Thank you to Joshua Mertens, Team Indicarp Charters, your 2025 AMS Big 20 champions. Great job, Josh.
Yeah,
Thank you guys very much.
Oh, I got to say this. We were talking to him earlier before we started the podcast, and he said one of his nicknames was a Shermanator.
Oh, the
The
Shermanator.
Shermanator from the movie American Pie.
Oh.
Yeah, spiked hair and stuff. You kind of do look like the Shermanator a little bit.
Yep.
The Shermanator.
Yeah. Don't forget, the Brody's 30 Part 2 airs this Saturday on Carbon TV.
Yep. Check it out.
In a couple weeks, Schmitty, we're heading to Carptown, USA.
Yes,
baby.
we are. We got the Airbnb booked. We're excited to go out there.
Yes.
We're going to have a good old time.
We are. And thank you to all of you who joined us this past weekend for the AMS Big 20.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was great seeing you all.
Love seeing you guys.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you for the 15th annual AMS Big 20.
Yes. Yep.
We'll be there.
Yes, you will.
We'll be there.
So from all of us here at AMS Bowfishing and Megamouth Bowfishing, we wish you the best of luck. And remember, aim low.
Think big. Thanks for listening, guys.